We are now live. Alrighty. Let me share my screen here. One second. Okay. And then, can you guys see it okay? Perfect. Okay. Alrighty. So we are tasked to review part one of the case study from this week. So I've got it right here. Let's see. Pretty sure we're just reviewing this Sonia Alvarez case. Um, I guess something I took from this as I read it this afternoon um, was, I mean, I work for somebody and he's very busy, and I don't like to add additional stress to him if I can avoid it, um, or if I can um, just keep some of the things that I know just to myself and just tell him only important stuff. Um, so I'm just curious, what is everybody else's thoughts with it?
Well, it was kind of an interesting thing because I was trying to decide, well, was he annoyed? Maybe he was deep in thought when she brought it up to him
Hmm.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, his response was more or less, yeah, okay, I mean, she may have been overly sensitive to it. Maybe he w didn't mean it the way it sounded, or maybe he was overwhelmed with everything that was going on in his life, and maybe he did think of it like, oh, great, one more thing. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know what he was thinking. I'm sure he was probably just had something else going on in his mind. She kind of dropped it on him, and maybe he just, came across as nonchalant. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird case study.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah, because the way he talks about it doesn't sound overly like pessimistic or negative. It just sounds like he was like, "Oh, good. Yeah, okay, that sounds good." And then he just kind of carried on with his stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. Jeremy, did
Well, and
you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Heather.
oh no, I was just gonna say, and not to make this like stereotypical, but women tend to read more into things. Um, Typically their responses are a little more dramatic than most guys or men in general, and women tend to use more words. I mean, this is proven in studies that women use more words to respond or to, in a whole day they use more words than men, and maybe she expected him to be like, "Oh yeah, I've got this. That's great. That's a good idea." And his response was like, "Okay, cool." And she just expected something more, and she's just maybe being overly sensitive. I don't know.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I was also thinking um, I wonder why Joey just didn't like. There's probably, I mean, I've just been in positions like that where things just kind of run through your mind like really quickly, and sometimes like in order to relieve the stress or anxiety, like I have to get it done. Like there's no other way. Like I have to get it done, and so maybe if Joey just maybe if he communicated a little bit more clear, like I look forward to that. And to be frank with you, here is everything that's on my plate right now. Is there something that I can drop or delegate to be able to have a better priority for what you envision? Right? Because clearly the reason it was a quick response is because there's a lot of things on his mind. I wonder if he just said, "Hey, like this is everything I'm dealing with. What can I drop to be able to do this for you? Because you're the boss, you know. I'll trust you." And I don't know.
Mhm.
That's what I was kind of led to think.
Yeah, those are all really great points. It's interesting with these cases. There's so many ways to like as we've gone through, I think it's like 5 or 6 weeks now doing these. There's so many ways to read into these cases, and obviously typically we don't have the full context of everything that's going down before or during or after. We just have this little tidbit of information, so to speak. Um, so I mean, I look at something in some way, but you guys all see it different too, which is really cool. Let's see. I guess we already kind of answered this first question here. Given Joey's response, do you think, I don't know if it's Sonia or Sonia, needs to wait to share her priorities with the directors? Why or why not? Does anybody have any thoughts on that question?
I honestly don't see a problem with her going forward with that, you know. Just if she's the new boss and she knows what she wants, wants to get done, I don't think there's any problem getting that stuff done and letting them know. I think, like Heather said, it just from a very raw, objective perspective, it just seems like she might be reading into it a little bit and just it's like, just don't worry about it. Just kind of do your thing, kind of read the room, just go with it. So I don't think she should wait. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with it. I mean, she's been trusted in this new position to be the vice president of merchandising. Um, Clearly she's been given lots of responsibilities before, so I don't really see, I mean, I really don't see what the holdup is, you know? Like if you're the VP and you want to get some things done, let's get some things done, you know? If you're in this situation, what do you think you would do next? What principles might help us solve this problem effectively? Any other thoughts?
I think she just needs to maybe communicate better with him. Maybe she needs to have a one-on-one, with him before she brings it up to everyone else. Um, I don't know. That's because I don't know. I think yeah, communication, she needs to be better at communicating maybe. Um, but also, I mean, if she chooses just to go with it, she can just make her own decisions and follow through and not worry so much about, maybe what he thinks. Um, I don't know. I think it's a communication thing, really.
Yeah,
Totally.
I would agree. Like, just trying to put myself in the shoes, right? What would I do next in this situation? I think what I would try to not do, I guess more specifically, is not let it get to me, right? Like Heather was saying, try not to read too much into the situation. Try not to dramatize the interaction because I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes just overthink like interactions with people, especially people who um, I don't know, maybe like authority figures or like bosses at work or just like people who I care about their impressions for me of me, right? And so I think just having I try to have a little bit of grit and just say, you know, if this is a setback, if it's not, either way, you just move forward and try to plan to resolve to make things better.
Yeah, totally. That all
Yeah,
makes sense to
I
me.
think she should just go with. I would just go through with it. If she's really worried that he's struggling with this assignment, I think there's nothing wrong with just going up to him and be like, "Hey, do you have a sec, Joey? Can I ask you a quick question? Like, how are you feeling about this and this?" And then I've always found that just in my experience, if I have I wouldn't even say a beef, but if I have if something rubs me kind of strange, the moment I talk to that person about it, almost like seriously 99% of the time, it's a nothing burger. And I was worrying about it for no reason. And just hearing them, just being able to talk it out, you just like, oh, wow. And then it ends up turning into like a funny situation. So I think if she really wants to chat, she should just chat with him personally. Just go forward.
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh, I totally agree. Heather, you unmuted. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I 100% agree with what he just said, because yeah, you can't please everybody. You can't make everybody like what your plan is. Sometimes if you like it, you just move forward and, accept what happens.
Totally. Totally. Y'all make really, really good points. I think too, something that could be really helpful for her. Something that's worked for me at one of my previous jobs. I worked at a small engine repair shop here in Rexburg. Um, and I worked there for about 8 or 9 months. And before I transferred to my other job I'm working at right now, I would often sit down with my boss, probably once a week, maybe twice a week, and just say, "Hey, like, I know you've got a lot on your plate. What can I do to help alleviate some of your stress or some of the things that you guys are having to handle? Um, do you need to call this angry customer or something like that? I don't know. Just talk with him and like trying to sort of empathize with my boss to a degree. Obviously, I don't really know exactly what he was going through, but just offering my help and just letting him know that I'm there as well. So maybe Sonia, maybe she has all these plans, but maybe before acting on these plans, maybe she should stop and look around and ask what she can do to help or how she can help these directors out. Maybe the previous VP left a huge mess behind. I don't, again, we don't really know that. So, but yeah, those are all really great points. Anybody else have any final words or we move on? Okay, let me go back to this agenda. Excuse me. Read part two of the case. I think thought I had it up. Guess not. Here is the second part of the case. I guess, wait, I should open up another tab. Let's do that. Okay. I'm more than willing to read this. If you guys are cool with that, I can read it. It says, after the director left her office, Anya knew she couldn't run the meeting the way that she had originally planned. Leading the way like the savior, leading the way the savior leads is something I've thought a lot more about this year. It's something I want to do, and I want people to feel love. I want them to feel heard and understood. Where it's appropriate, I want to act on impressions that will help me be more effective at work. And they come. Acting on an impression, Sonia opened the meeting by asking the directors to write their responsibilities on post-it notes. She then put up 5 buckets, flip chart pages stuck to the wall for them to categorize their responsibilities. Delegate, delete, defer, maintain, or rethink and revise. This is where inspiration came in, Sonia says. I had never thought of this framework before. Once the post notes were on the board, Sonia asked the directors, what do you observe? The directors pointed out that most of the responsibilities need to be delegated or revised. They discussed ideas for delegating or rethinking those tasks. Sonia helped the directors see how the types of actions they could take to manage the different tasks with increased coordination and efficiency. She reflects on what happened. Turns out to be a very energizing meeting. I told them at the beginning, I want you to feel like leadership understands what's on your plate. That's where the empathy part comes in. That's taking time to understand the people and their concerns. And so I led by asking questions and listening and did very little talking. At the end of the meeting, Sonia laid out each person's main priorities and made the same assignments she originally planned. Everyone went away happy with their new assignments because they felt heard and had a better plan for managing what was already on their plates. Righty. And then the questions. Seems like Sonia's approach to the meeting worked out well. What principles might explain why it worked? Does anybody have any thoughts with that?
Well, I
Um,
like that she created kind of a visual for them. I don't know, I'm a visual person, and so kind of creating the categories, the buckets or whatever, and helping them see that visually, um, I think helped them kind of understand, that part of it. And then um really, yeah, letting them know, hey, we want to see you succeed. Just showing them that she cared went a long way, knowing, hey, I know what's on your plate. I can see you have a lot on your plate, and we're here to help you achieve, what we've asked you to do. I don't know. I think that because a lot of times I think it's one of the biggest complaints in business, I know in my husband's, is just getting feedback and positive feedback. And also, yeah, just understanding, hey, I see you. I see what you're doing, and getting that feedback. Sometimes you don't know, am I doing a good job? Am I doing the things I'm supposed to be doing? Or, or are they up, or am I not? Am I not fulfilling what they want me to do? Getting that feedback is important, especially positive reinforcement.
Totally. Jeremy?
yeah, I think basically just what Heather said, like summed it up pretty well. I think with when it came to an expectation, she didn't just she didn't take change lightly. What I mean by that is she wanted to make improvement. She wanted to be able to have something to move forward with. And so in that pursuit, she didn't trust her own intuition. She opened it up for their feedback for what they saw. And I think that that's just pretty powerful. Like, okay, what's everything on your plate and how do you feel with what's on your plate? Right. And it's like most of them didn't say most of them put like some things need to be revised um, or need to be dropped. Right. So I think
Hmm.
like as well, just like it when things change, like when you have a fresh start, when you have like a fresh move, I mean, that's just naturally invigorating as well. So I think there are a lot of like um, mental things going on that I guess that just really spoke to people.
Totally. For sure. Crystal, did you have anything you would like to add?
I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but there's a saying I've heard tossed around the past couple years of my life that nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care. And in a leadership position, I have experienced that and also witnessed that that trust is at the heart of every human interaction we have, and especially when when you are an inferior or superior to somebody in some sort of professional manner or in callings, it really doesn't matter, that you can chat and chat and chat people's ear off and you can give them the best information in the world. It could be they don't even know what they're missing out on, but that will never ring true to them if they don't know that you care about them. And so that's always been a big goal of mine personally. And it was something that I think Sonia did well in this example is she made sure that her people knew that she cared about them. And then suddenly she even described it. It's like the meeting just kind of worked like clockwork. Things just started flowing and you can't get those things out of order. So,
Yeah, totally.
What was that you said in the beginning?
what's that?
What was that saying that you said in the beginning? It was like,
Oh, it was nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care. I don't know where that comes from, but
Good saying.
I'd love.
Yeah, no, I'd say this meeting was definitely a huge success. I mean, I bet all these directors, I mean, it says that they walked out happier than when they came in. They're definitely heard. And the important thing is that Sonya recognized that they had a lot going on and that she couldn't run the meeting in the way that she had planned to. Um, and so I think it's obviously there's like another saying, something along the lines of like take care of the people or like you take care of the people who take care of you, so to speak. Something like I don't know how it goes exactly, but um, if you take care of those who work for you, then in the end they're gonna take care of you. So um, I mean, so it was a very
It's
energizing
Teddy
meeting, which
Roosevelt.
is really good.
Anyone here?
Yeah, awesome.
Sorry, I cut you off,
Any,
Jacob.
no, dude, you're good. You're good. Any other thoughts with that question, the first question?
Wait, and then you said it was Teddy Roosevelt said the one Jacob said or the one you said?
The one I originally quoted.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty, we can go to the second question then. If nobody else wants to talk about the first one, it's okay. Is there anything you would do differently from what Sonya did? Why? I know to answer this question, no, I wouldn't have done anything different. I mean, it went well. She can stick to her guns later on, once she helps everybody out and gets everything right. But I'm curious as to your guys' thoughts.
No, I honestly don't have anything. I think she nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we could all agree.
I agree. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I think she made a good choice in how she handled it. And so I think she did a great job. You know,
Perfect. I guess we can move to the next question then. If we had implemented the plan that we had previously talked about in the previous case, what would have happened in this instance?
Like from part one.
Yeah, I think
Is that
that's what I
am I
was talking about.
understanding?
Hmm.
I'm
well, I
trying
don't
to
know
think of the ideas
how.
we talked
Oh,
about.
go ahead. Go ahead.
What I was just saying, I'm trying to even remember if we talked about a plan.
I think we just talked about like maybe her pulling Joey aside and talking with him more one-on-one, communicating
Hmm.
better with him. I don't know if that was like a plan, but I mean, that was something we thought, well, maybe she could do that if she felt like that was necessary. Um, I don't think it would have changed what she ended up doing. Maybe it would have. I don't know. I think she changed it anyway, just realizing that maybe she needed a different approach.
Yeah, I was just gonna say earlier, I don't know if we necessarily had a plan. Um, but I was just thinking like some of my observations from or like some of our observations from earlier were like she might be reading too much into the situation, like she might need to communicate better what's on her plate and kind of like see where Jacob stands. So I think like honestly our speculation was like pretty close to what she ended up doing anyway. So I
Hmm.
was just gonna say good job.
Yeah, I feel like even if she went into his office and was like, "Hey, are you we good? Is everything all right?" She probably would have found out. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, this and this and this and this," and then I assume she would have been like, "Okay, if you're feeling this way, maybe I need to start the meeting out by let's just get everyone's feelings out." So I am sure it would have naturally developed into something. So
For sure. For sure. Any other thoughts with this second part of the case?
I may not be under, like, I guess I do have a thought maybe if something she could have done better, but like maybe it's just because I'm not reading it right because sometimes I struggle understanding some reading. But it said Sonia laid out each person's main priorities in the and made the same assignment she originally planned. Um, and so I'm just curious if like the assignments that she originally planned were different from the ones that they delegated were important. Does that question make sense? Or does that statement make sense rather? So yeah, I guess like if I don't know, but maybe I'm just reading it wrong. Like maybe if her plan like she said maybe she if she dropped her plans from the start and like just had her plans become whatever they thought were most important. I don't know. But I was like trying because I was really trying to think like what she could have done differently because I couldn't really find anything. But anyway, it's kind of a pointless statement, but there it is.
No. I mean, that makes sense. I think what it was trying to say was like, yes, she did give him the original assignments that she was planning to give, but maybe she added like a footnote saying like, hey, you guys need to delegate like some of these responsibilities or delete or revise some of them. Anyways, here's your new assignment, but no pressure, you know.
Oh, gotcha.
Maybe something
Yeah.
like that. That's kind of how I thought of it. When she gave him the
Sweet.
assignment anyways.
It looks to me
So
like it was a huge example of good timing because she didn't change the quality of what she wanted. She still wants the same results for her business, but
mhm,
it's all in the way how you present it to somebody. And it kind of goes back to that saying is like if you just jump in headstrong into a meeting and you're like, "Hey guys, this is what I want to get done." That's gonna rub people. That's gonna have a little bit of a different flavor than if you come in and say, "Hey, I just want to let's lay the groundwork. I want to make sure you guys are heard. What are you guys struggling with?" And then you take that last. I think her timing was excellent because she used the end of her meeting to be like, "Okay, now that we know what everyone needs, then then here then here are some ways that I, as a supervisor, feel like we can tackle some of these things. And so I'm going to put you in charge of this. I'm going to put you in charge of this." And that was received so much better. And so it does show you that, again, you can have the most golden ticket, but it's all about how you present it to somebody that can make or break that relationship. And she did it. So
totally.
she did a good job.
She did. Any other thoughts, Heather or Crystal?
I thought she did a good job too. I, it was a creative way of delegating.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I had a
those were
really
good.
hard time hearing you, Crystal. I don't know if it's my earbuds or I don't know. I'm so
If
sorry.
my like computer microphone doesn't pick me up very good, but I just said it's like I thought she did a good job, and it was a creative way of doing her like delegating out, right? Like instead of like assigning something, she like had them participate.
Totally. Yeah. I'll remember this if I'm ever some sort of leader or something, you know. It's really pretty smart, honestly. Okay, well, if there's no other comments about this case, we can move on. Um, oh, well, I think because these are the same questions as this one, right? Yeah. Um, Overall, I guess we can just kind of summarize our thoughts and then we can conclude. Um, this was a pretty good example of how to be like it says in the second part, a good Christ-like leader. Um, Obviously, um, as people, as members of the church, we obviously strive to emulate the qualities that our Heavenly Father and Savior have. And we know we're not perfect. I know you can ask my wife. I am far from perfect. Um, but we do the very best we can, and I think I've been on both sides, like in meetings where they come in very headstrong, and I just feel like maybe belittled or like just the lowest person on the whole planet. But then I've gone to other meetings too where people genuinely care and they genuinely want you to succeed. And as members of the church, we should strive for the latter part. It is hard. I know it can be really hard. Um, but it's very important to remember that no one's perfect and that we all have our own lives and we all have hundreds of things going on at one time. And it can be stressful. And so for Sonia, this was an excellent example. But I'm curious on anybody else's thoughts.
I think just I everything you said, yeah, that's is just yeah, having being a disciple leader, you just have to remember that yeah, everybody has something going on and it's easy to get frustrated and be like, what the heck are they doing? Why are they not, getting this done or maybe, they don't seem like they're making as much effort as you'd like them to. But, you never know what's going on in their personal life or what else they have on their plate. And I mean that goes in our callings and in our jobs and even in our groups, like we don't know what each other's got on their plate. Um um some of you may be taking 18 credits and some of us might be taking 3 credits, or whatever,
Mhm.
and we're all like just trying to make it through with what we can do. And so having that compassion, empathy, and just understanding, I think really goes a long way in careers and in, our families and obviously school. So
Any
Yeah, I just
other?
know for me, like, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I try to reflect on like some incredible leaders that I know and like what qualities about them like spoke to me and why they are more memorable than other leaders. And honestly, it has to do with this everything Heather said. Like they took time to know me, they took time to know my interests. And because they knew me and know their interest, whatever they were teaching me, whatever they were leading me to do, whatever they were seeking to be able to drive me to do, it just came a lot more easy because I knew that they invested in me and not just invested in one to have my skills right or have my value or just drive me to have results. They like drove me to or they just took the incentive to be able to get to know me and to understand who I was. And so I think that characteristic is important, just like Heather said.
For sure. Any other thoughts?
Not at all. Well said.
Perfect. Okay. Um, well, I guess that just about wraps everything up. We need to select who will lead the meeting next week, next Tuesday. Have we all done it? I think we all have done it. I don't know.
I haven't done it, so I'll do
Okay,
Crystal, did
perfect.
you say you would do it,
it.
Crystal?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Excellent. Alrighty, Crystal. Well, you will lead the Zoom meeting next week. It's perfect. Um, I guess I can stop sharing my screen. Any other parting words um, before we take off?
Jacob, do you know how to post the link for this recording?
I think I do, but I'll take some time to try and figure it out first.
After you stop the recording, it's gonna prompt you to save the video because
Yeah,
everybody, yeah. And so, I can't because I did it first. I honestly cannot remember what it said, but it's gonna prompt you to save it. And what it does is if I remember right, it saves it as a video, like the video that you can upload, but doesn't give you a link. I'm trying to, Jeremy and Ammon, do you remember? Did it give you an option to save a link?
You should be able to save it to the cloud, which then gives you a link.
So the app, this is why I was having a funky time, is because the app did not show any recordings of mine. And so I was like, it was just ridiculous. And so I had to go through the web version, and it thankfully had my recording saved there, but there was no option to share at all. And I couldn't find it on the app. I couldn't find it on online either. I just had the MP4. So if there is an option to save or whatever, just click it right away. So it can get
Yeah.
there.
So, it saves to your OneDrive cloud in your school email. It's a
hmm
weird because you're using a school Zoom account. And so it automatically, I didn't know that till I had to search for, I'm like, where did this just save it to? And it saved it to my OneDrive, the cloud, whatever, but it's in your school email and it's on the left side of the main screen. And that's where you want to look for it. But it does only save it as an MP3. It doesn't save it as a shareable link. But I, I had a shareable link because I remember emailing it out. So I don't know how I got that. I can't remember. So if you see anywhere that it says save this link or any of that, copy
yeah,
this link, do it. Do it. Because you're not going to get that option again.
Yeah.
perfect.
I think I just looked up how to convert a file to a link. And so
Ah.
yeah, there's just like certain things you can do once it's saved in your file. So um that's what I did. So